and welcome to another edition of the Paranormal Concept Show, exclusive to the PAUK Radio Network. I'm your host, Paul Rook, and tonight is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be doing a special because I'm in the studio on my own tonight. Kerry's not very well, and Richard's got a family emergency, so he's had to deal with that. So hopefully, Kerry, get well soon, and Richard, hurry up and deal with it and get back because we need you. So yeah, tonight I've invited on a very good friend of mine, a colleague, and a co-presenter on another show. It's Dark Mirror Show, and we are joined by Mark Manley. Hello, Mark.
Good evening. Good evening. You all right, mate?
Yeah. How are you been?
Apart from leaping around the room trying to kill lots and lots and lots of mosquitoes, I'm super fine at the moment. Thank you very much. UFO watching, as I normally do, amongst other things, and trying to make the dog's actually being remarkably quiet tonight. The paranormal pooch, which is unusual.
Good. Well, we'll get there. Get the pooch's input a bit later.
And it's the Dark Mirror Radio Show.
Oh, you've got so many now. You're doing a Dark Mirror, Back Mirror thingy or something, didn't you?
Oh, no, we did the Dark Mirror Radio Show, and then when Taylor May has finally settled into her new house and got my grandson's bedtime sorted out, we'll be going back to doing the Rear View Mirror on a Sunday.
Excellent. Okay, so what do you discuss on the Dark Mirror Show?
On the Dark Mirror Show, normally we have a different paranormal topic each week, but for the last 2 months, I've literally done it. Well, we started talking about UFOs and aliens, and it's just gone wild, and everybody comes in throwing questions left, right, and centre. Like, I think the week before last, we did everything from UFOs, aliens, then diets, of all things, and then probing, and God knows what else. And it's just gone mad. It's literally taken off and gone daft, and we're getting loads of listeners and stuff, and it's been really good. It's been really good.
Good. I mean, with all this declassification of documents and stuff, is that sort of coming into your shows a bit?
We have discussed the American full disclosure nonsense, but their version of full disclosure, it's typical government mumbo jumbo. Yes, we have downed UFOs. Yes, we have crashed UFOs. Yes, it is of a tech that we have never seen before. It is not a tech that is from any known civilization on the planet, but we cannot say it comes from off-world. That was their report.
Okay. Yeah. I know. Obviously, you are a believer in the aliens and.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I am the alien guy. That's what I'm known as.
That's true. Absolutely.
Ask Kerry. I used to do a head-in every week. We did the show.
Oh, you do our heads in anyway.
That's part of my job.
Excellent. When you talk about aliens, do you envisage them to look a certain way, or are you just believing the alien greys, or Yeah.
I think really that we don't know the bloody half of it. I mean, most people base things on it being a carbon-based life form, but for all we know, and we've discussed this before, I think there could be silicon-based life forms. So, when you look down through all the records and all the archives, and then if you look back into antiquity and read all their descriptions, there's reports of alien life forms coming that look like humans, like the Nords and the Chinese ones and this, that, and the other, just really tall, So I think as much as we have a variety and diversity on Earth, I think you've literally got the same out there with, with aliens. Because for every pinprick of light you see in the sky, for each star, there's supposed to be 2 planets out near it capable of sustaining life. And if that's the case, that means there's billions of planets out there with various forms of life on it. Who's to say there aren't some that are billions of years older than us, who are vastly superior technology-wise, and that they come and see us all the time,
Okay. Interesting. I
My
know.
ex-in-laws. If you want to know what some aliens look like, just look at my ex-in-laws. That'll tell you.
Recently, both me and Kerry and Richard, actually, we've been looking into Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
What do you think is causing all that paranormal activity that's there?
I think that there's, because funny enough, I did a show on this a few months ago, with Wayne Seddon, my co-host. I think it's literally, you got all the multiverse, and you got all different doorways that can go to parallel universes or different dimensions, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
I think Skinwalker Ranch is literally the grand central station of all the different doorways to all the different places. And I think it's like a convergence point of lots of different doorways and exits. And I think they're all over the place. But I also think there's something to do with nuclear radiation in one bit there, if I remember rightly. But I do think it's doorways to all sorts of different places.
Hmm. I know they have spoken about seeing some strange entities, whether they be aliens or spiritual beings, just sort of disappearing into thin air, essentially. What do you believe they could be?
Well, I mean, I'm not religious. I do believe that back in I can't even say the damn word, antiquity, that when things appeared, they would think angels, demons. Oh, Jesus say, look, show me a cross, back off, But I think nowadays we know things a bit different. So I think a lot of the things that people think are, angels and demons and stuff, are actually just visitors from, or things from, the multiverse or different dimensions. The things that they see disappear. I mean, it's steeped in Native Americans' shamanic magic over there as well. So who's to say that a lot of the things that are in all the legends and stuff of that particular area aren't real? But it's now with modern day technology, we know things can come in and out of phase, etc., and everything vibrates at different frequencies, and that's why these things can appear and disappear. So it could be, like I say, there are doorways there, and things are able to come in and out and utilize these doorways.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't taken any drugs or alcohol, I swear.
No, I mean, from watching that program, the documentary on Sky, I think it was,
It's very
about
interesting.
about the secrets of Skinwalker Ranch.
It
Strikes me that there could be some sort of meteorite underneath Skinwalker Ranch,
with the
and
radiation that's coming out from it.
yeah, every now and again it spikes with the radiation, RF frequencies and stuff like that. Because one minute, you get a huge spike, and then the next it's just gone completely, and it's almost like there's a build up in this meteor, and it just fires it out every so often, a bit like a geyser.
Yeah.
Geyser, whatever way you want to pronounce it.
Geyser.
It's a geyser.
All right, mate. All right, just come fire some of this off. All right, where's the toilet?
Yeah. It's a geyser where I'm from. But yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking. I know that again in the program they were talking about because the Skinwalker Ranch is not built, but surrounded by that small like mountain range.
That's right.
Or hill, or whatever it was. I don't know. And because of the angles and it's almost like a crescent, like a bowl, and it's focusing the energy to one particular point just above.
That's right.
Above the ranch. They also
Like
tied it in with opening up wormholes.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good possibility, or do you think it's just for the program?
I think that, I mean, before the program and everything, there's always been stuff happening at Skinwalker Ranch. But the thing that's in the air, and the fact that people were getting radiation burns on their skin and on their faces and stuff. Yes, you're right. It is like a bowl, that little canyon area. So it's like a radio telescope.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be beaming something to that particular point. But as I say, I think there are lots of different doorways there. But that could be like the main focal point, as in that's like platform number one.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's definitely something going on there.
Yeah. I mean, what again? Something else that interested me was the beam of light that was only visible on night vision. You couldn't, they'd look over with the naked eye, and they you couldn't see it, but then you put your night vision up, and you could see it just going straight across the sky. Do you think that's sort of a what do you think would cause that?
I would have thought some sort of infrared spotlight, purely because of the fact that you kept having those helicopters going over that had their transponders switched off, and it's not just for the TV program that's happened down throughout the years, and the military have been involved, but it's all black helicopters with no signatures. So it could possibly be some sort of infrared or ultraviolet spotlight, because it does come up on the flare, and that's forward-looking infrared. So I do definitely think there's something going on, and there is. You're right, that light does flash across the sky, but the trouble is you can't see a beginning point and you can't see an end point, so you don't know where it started, and you don't know who's receiving it. So you don't even know if it's actually anything to do with Skinwalker Ranch. It just happens to flash across their land,
Yeah. No, that's it just interested me because, as you said, you can't see where it's coming from, and it's invisible to the naked eye.
Yeah.
And what's its purpose? That's
at
what.
the moment the purpose is shut up, cat.
Oh dear. Yeah, no, it was just. What is it signaling as well? That's another issue. Is it just a bat signal?
Is it signaling? Is it signaling, or is it transmitting some sort of data?
Well, I don't know. Can you carry information on an infrared beam?
Well, I mean,
Well, I
some of the
suppose you
stuff
could, couldn't you?
yeah, some of the stuff that's happening there at the moment, and in regards to things that have been happening outside of our planet, surely I would have thought there's something out there that's capable of transmitting stuff in a burst of UV or IR light. Don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean that's the principle of our remote controls work, isn't it? You press a button, you get the infrared beam across. So I should imagine that's pretty much. It could be
Bloody big infrared.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know.
It's one of those remote controls for old people, with the buttons the size of my head on them.
Yeah.
And somebody's just going, I can't find it, and that's what you see zapping across the sky.
Oh, I don't know. It's yeah. The only other vision that I got was there's the new Suicide Squad movie. Yeah. Spoiler alert, everybody. They have starfishes on their heads.
Yeah.
Then you said button, it's just like starfish with their eyes.
I was like, oh, when I saw that. Yeah. But it was quite cool what happened once the starfishes came off.
Yeah, it was actually. That was good. Everyone's got to go and see that movie.
It's different, I'll tell you that.
Oh, definitely. It's a good sequel. Okay, so leaving the movies behind for a little while, and going back to the Skinwalker Ranch. What do you think are the light anomalies that they pick up? Do you think they're spacecraft, or do you think there's something else?
I think there's only really two possibilities. They're not helicopters, because if they are helicopters, I know we've got some in our militaries that do silent running, but not that bloody quiet. I think you've only really got two possibilities of either drones or something from elsewhere.
Yeah.
they're the two that stand out. It's either a drone, a very, very good one, or it's visitors from elsewhere.
Yeah, no, I've always thought that UFOs in particular were more to do with the military as opposed to anything else. And there was actually a video quite recently that I've seen that showed three lights or three. I think they're drones, to be honest, but they were like three drones flying in unison, and each one was a different color, and then all of a sudden they just disappeared. That's the bit that I find quite weird.
If you've got drones flying in unison, and if you're flying them at night, then you've obviously got to have drones that are capable of flying with infrared because of being.
The ones on the video were during the day.
Oh, fuck knows then. I have no idea how they disappeared.
Okay, so you definitely believe that then that a majority of the UFO claims are aliens?
No, because although I'm a believer in most things paranormal, I don't think that every single thing anybody sees is aliens or ghosts or Bigfoot or this, that, and the other. I think some are possibly genuine, but I think the majority of them are probably misidentified. But I do think there are some that are real. But because there's so many hoaxes and you get the misidentified ones, the real ones get sort of like put to one side because everybody's too busy ridiculing all the fake ones, you know?
Yeah. Do you think then that maybe some of the governments around the world are actually still looking into these aliens, or do you think they're already here and already working with us?
No, I think they're already here and they've been working with us for a very, very long time. There's quite a few insiders that talk about it, and that there's a lot of stuff that goes on that isn't common knowledge, and how can I put it? It's not the government. It goes beyond the government.
Okay, I know.
Government.
I know there's lots of conspiracy theories out there and everything regarding what aliens are doing, whether they're here or whatever. What is it that you believe is the truth?
I think there are possibly some here working with these black sites, whatever you want to call them. But I think the majority of the benevolent ones, because if you look back in time and prehistory and stuff, and all the way back to the Babylonians, and they talk about the Anunnaki and Gilgamesh and this, that, and the other, then we've known about them for centuries. Governments have known about them for centuries, and they've been working with them for centuries. But whilst you've got benevolent ones, and I think quite rightly so, the reason they don't show themselves is because at the moment governments are either too corrupt or too stupid and try and shoot everything down. And once they stop going to try and shoot everything down and stop trying to take all the technology for themselves, then perhaps they might say, right, now you're being sensible, we can come and see you.
Yeah, I must admit, I do sort of agree with that, because there are a lot of people out there that would start shooting at these UFOs and things like that. I mean, wasn't it the Phoenix Lights? Someone was shooting at them.
There was one. No, the Phoenix Lights, somebody attempted to, and then they were told no certain terms, pack it in, because the way rounds go, you're going to shoot somebody in the city. But there was one that was coming across in the stratosphere, and it was captured by the space station. There was a UFO coming across. There was a flash of light from the Earth, and the UFO literally did an about turn, buggered off, and its missile or something went right where it was. So, look at the difference between North American sightings and South American sightings. North American sightings are nearly all at night, nearly all triangle craft, and nearly all badly filmed. South American sightings are nearly always daylight, very well filmed, and in focus. And I think the difference is in the governments, because the South American governments are very open about it. So, we talk to them with this, that, and the other. We don't try and take their technology. We don't try and shoot them down. So that's the difference between the two countries. One country tries to shoot everything, the other one doesn't, and that kind of gives you a big insight into how they think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it could like lead to another like interstellar war, couldn't it? Really, if someone was to shoot them down.
Well, if governments have got to stop being so bloody trigger happy, and they've got to start saying, well, actually, how can what do you want? Do you want to have a do you want to talk to us? Do you want to create a dialogue? What do you want to do? Instead of just going, do you know what? Pew pew pew.
That's it. Be more like the Doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Just take it in their stride and wave a sonic screwdriver at them.
That's it. Yeah, just get rid of guns. Sonic screwdrivers are the way to go. Don't we know it?
Yeah, we do.
Oh dear. Okay, so what UFO case interests you the most?
Travis Walton and I think Betty and Barney Hill and Rendlesham Forest.
Oh, now I could tell you a few stories about Rendlesham Forest. That nearly killed me, that place.
Go on.
I was on crutches that particular day because I had a bad back, and we went looking for the site where the UFO was alleged to have landed.
Yeah.
And because they've got that little statue there, haven't they?
Yeah.
And we went to look for it. I think we was there for about 4 or 5 hours walking around this poxy forest. Big circle we walked in. We found the east gate.
Yeah.
Kelly was worried that she needed to call air ambulance out for me. You could literally, by the time we walked all the way around back to the car, you could actually wring my t-shirt out. That's how hot that walk made me.
Oh dear.
And I said to Richard and Kerry, I'm going to stay here with the car. You can crack on and go the other way. So off they went, and they found this statue about 10 minutes from the car in the other direction.
Wow.
I think they were trying to off me, really.
Yeah, well, to be fair, knowing those two, more than likely.
Yeah, that's to take over the show.
Definitely. Well, you're not there, like,
Yeah. Oh dear, but yeah, no, they eventually found it, and our producer was with them, Andy Mercer. So give him a shout out. They all nearly killed me that day.
Oh dear. Well, the trouble is, you don't know with Kerry if she's in one of those moods. Ooh.
I know, it's dangerous. Have you ever visited Rendlesham?
No, but I'm hoping to this weekend.
Ooh.
So
road trip.
Yes,
I'm
hoping to. It all depends on funds for this weekend, but fingers crossed, all being well, I should be travelling down there to do a live from this Friday.
Oh, okay. So do you? I know you did start doing the lives at different locations. Are you still doing those?
Yeah, we are. I just can't do it every week because of money and work and everything. So it's gonna be a now and then. But it's like if I can't do it this weekend, then I'll just have to arrange it for another weekend and go down and do it.
Yeah.
But definitely gonna do one from there.
Good. And have you got any other locations you want to go to?
Pendle Hill.
Okay.
Pendle Hill, the ancient Ramin. Trying to think where else. There was loads that I wanted to do it in, but then when I've looked into the cases and I've looked into the amount of teams that have been there, and I'm just like, nope, that's been rinsed.
Yeah.
So, but definitely Pendle Hill, ancient Ramin, Rendlesham, and I'll think of some others when they crop up.
Okay. Cool. So what ones have you done already?
I'm trying to think of the name. There's a witch's ducking pond down in Winchester because we've only just started doing them. We did that one. We did Kelton Hatch. And I did another one as well. And I can't remember where the hell it was. But I've done 3.
Okay.
I'm sure
yeah, I was.
Oh yeah. That one that you were at with the book signing.
Oh, that was Skegness. The village.
Yeah, we did one there as
Yes.
well.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
there at the Kilburn one as well,
That's right.
hiding somewhere.
Yeah, probably knowing you.
Oh dear. Okay, so we spoke about um, Skinwalker Ranch. Is there any? Because obviously you said that there's doorways there.
Hmm.
Do you believe there's doorways anywhere else on the planet, or is it just?
I believe, yeah, I believe that there's a lot of places that I call them thin places, like the veil between certain realms is thin. I don't believe there's many places like Skinwalker Ranch because I think there's lots of different doorways to lots of different places there. But
Yeah.
I think that all over the world there are places where you've got a doorway to a place. I think there's loads of them.
So, because I do remember hearing a story about Stonehenge being a doorway. You know,
Allegedly.
each of the arches lead to a different realm, as it were, and it was used primarily by Merlin.
Um, so what experimental drug were you taking at the time?
No, no, seriously, looking into research, I think I was doing a research show on King Arthur and Merlin and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, that apparently they used that as a doorway to other places.
Well, Stonehenge used to have another level above it.
Yeah.
That was the outer ring, and then there was another. There was like a roof or whatever, and there was another henge, smaller henge on top of it.
Hmm.
Um, and also when they did the ground penetrating radar on it, Stonehenge is that's about an eighth of what you see. Stonehenge is a sodding great big place.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I've never really bought into the UFO connection with
no,
Stonehenge,
no.
um, or
From,
the doorways or anything like that. I've just never really bought into them.
well,
I've heard lots of stories, but then I I believe that it was once a marketplace or a big place so that people could gather while they're on their routes to different places.
like a bus stop, a
Mm,
big bus station.
more, yeah, more like a bus station with train station and coach station, pubs and clubs and markets and stuff.
I just
All
imagine
run.
the druids back there waving their sickles in the air, going.
Yeah. No, but I just think it's almost like a little place where loads of roads
Convention.
crossed, and then they've built it
Um,
up around that.
well, I mean, I have read a report once about somebody when you could go, you used to be able to go up and touch the stones, making the shape of an Egyptian ankh out of a wire coat hanger, and they touched a stone, and some sort of power came out, and it knocked them out, and this was in front of a lot of people. So I think there's definitely been a druidic past there, and I do think, as you just say, I think it was a massive meeting place for people, but it was back when the druids were in power, so I think it was something to do with that. I don't think it's to do with aliens and that kind of nonsense whatsoever. Um, the only thing I think that's left over from any possible alien tech are the brass bells in right out in the middle of nowhere in Russia. The ones that sink and zap people and still make people ill from the radiation. I think that's possibly the only things that's left from that.
Okay, I have read articles where they claim that they've seen, or archaeologists have dug up strange metallic objects that are out of the time zone that they're digging in for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, have you ever come across any of those in your
Um.
research?
Well, the trouble is, there's more and more things are being dug up um, that are out of place anomalies, and we've done a show on out of place anomalies. Um, I think one of the most recent ones, funny enough, Russia again, and it was depleted refined uranium, and you do not get refined uranium naturally. It's a man-made process and has to be done man-made. You can't get it naturally. But this stuff that was found was something like 3.5 million years old. And they've also think they found the remains of what was some sort of weird ass power plant from thousands of years ago. But you know, we have an extinction event on this earth every 50,000 years. So lots and lots of people think that there were precursors to us and precursors to them and precursors to them and precursors to them. So who's to say they didn't have this technology? Something happened, they got wiped out. Then the next lot came along, had technology, wiped out, etc., etc., etc. Then it came to us, and we're just finding bits from previous precursors technology. Who knows?
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. That is. Yeah, I can see how that'll work. It's a bit like the Atlantis, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
they
yeah,
built up such awesome technology, and it was the downfall of them.
yeah.
Well,
They
as so the legend goes.
Well, yeah, they reckon that they did something that caused a cataclysmic event that wiped them out. But they also think that the leftovers or the remnants of the Atlanteans were what became the Minoans. And the only way we know about the Minoans is from the old painting and vase that's been found. It's a culture we didn't know anything about until these bits were found.
Yeah, there's a documentary on one of the streaming platforms that I think it's like diving, things underwater, and they actually, one of the guys, he dove down and he discovered like an underwater city. Was it Japan or China in the seas around there? And yeah, I think that really piques my interest as well.
I know there was one found in India, and it's been proved to be, it was an ancient city and it was the birthplace of one of their gods, and I can't remember which one it was, but they thought that the city was a myth, mythological, and they've actually found it, and
Okay.
that was in the sea or off the coast. It's the one you're talking about, got the Bimini roads in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the one you're on about. Again, those Bimini roads, have seen them, and I'm sorry, but to me, they do not look like something in it from nature. I think those are man-made.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're massive, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not for people our size.
I think, yeah, I mean, some of these ancient civilizations were very advanced for their time. So I think, got to be something that's helped them along the way a bit.
Look at Pumapunka, and the way those stones have been cut. And they've done measurements. They've taken microscopic pictures of all the work that's been done on them, and they've said that the work that's been done on them, there's no bloody way it could have been done by anything even we have now. So, and they think it was some sort of laser or something like that's cut them.
Yeah, yeah, that was sort of mentioned about on making the crystal skulls.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was suggested that it would have taken like 300 years to craft a skull with the technology that they had way back when they were created.
Yeah, some of them were found to be modern day, weren't they?
Yeah, yeah. I can't imagine they're going to come out of the ground like that.
No, I mean, I can remember years ago, Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World, and they
Yeah.
had some of those on there. And that when I was little, that was some of the stuff that got me liking it. Hang on, I'm just killing it. And die, you bugger! Ah,
You catching those flies again?
bloody gnats! I tell you. Yeah, and there's been quite a few skulls unearthed, but it's about half a real, half a fake. And it's a big, it's which is real and which is fake. You never know. But some of the
Yeah.
really famous ones have turned out to be fakes.
Yeah. Do
But
you think there's going to come a time soon when we're actually going to find out what's what?
I think in our lifetime we're certainly going to. I think in our lifetime we're going to have definitive proof of life from other planets, i.e., a sodding great big UFO is going to appear in the sky in front of millions and millions of people, or quite a few UFOs are going to do it. I don't think they're going to come here to invade the Earth or take us over or any nonsense like that. I just think they're going to go, right, guys, we're here. and it's not something that the government can turn around and go, "Oh, we just made that up. We beamed that into the sky to make it." No, you didn't. No, you didn't. So I do think that will happen in our lifetime, and there is that messages have been sent to various members of the government that will happen. So
I can imagine, like a big spaceship coming over, like very much like Independence Day, entering the atmosphere of image, and then the government going, "No, don't worry about it. We're filming Independence Day 4."
Yeah, it's Project Bluebeam. Ignore it. And I can see them doing that. No, every single country, you've got UFO over one part of it. And they're like, no, it's Project Bluebeam. It's a fake UFO invasion. We're just doing it to scare you and see how you handle it. Yeah, of course you are. Yeah.
I could see that. And years ago, there was a TV show about aliens coming into the planet and working with us. I think it was like a cop show.
Alien Nation. Alien Nation.
And that was it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think, all those sort of programs are priming us for the truth.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they couldn't touch salt water, could they?
No, something like that, wasn't it? Vague recollection. I used to watch it when I was doing security work years ago.
I used to love it. Yeah, used to love Alien Nation. Good program.
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that. But I've always loved the idea of aliens and, working with them and working together to advance humanity. But then I'm a Star Trek fan, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Well, the majority of us would love to see that happen and aren't scared of them and don't think they're here to be horrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, 20, 25, 30 years ago, people were still scared of it. Now, I don't think they are. Even the Pope. The Pope, was it last year or the year before, had a 2-week conclave with his top bishops on the question of whether there is life outside of Earth. And, the Pope, the head of the Catholic faith, turned around after the conclave and said, yeah, we think there is. Their gods may be different, but we have to respect them. We have to respect their gods. Now, for the head of the Catholic faith to turn around and tell all the Bible thumpers, yeah, there's aliens, get on with it. What does that tell you?
Yeah, absolutely. But then, it's going to raise a question, like, if God made man in his own image, whose image did he make them?
Yeah, but I'd say, for me, I have a problem with the Bible and any other holy book purely because to me, it stands as a set of rules written by man to govern man, because most of those rules these days don't mean anything,
Yeah.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's sheep. Oh, tell the Welsh that. So, it's, but because when you look at every single holy book that came out around roughly about the same time, they all talk about events that happened at the same time, but they all have all their events it's exactly the same bloody thing. They just tell it differently because it's a different god.
It's their belief system, isn't it? That's what comes into play a lot. I don't know, Kerry.
The same thing. Yeah, it's all the same thing. I think there were gods, but I think that the gods were visitors from other planets. But because of the technology they had, they could appear in a guise that a particular civilization would be agreeable to. So they would appear as all the different gods, all the different pantheon of the gods. The Romans, the Greeks, the Indians, the Egyptians, our gods, the Druid gods, and that. And I can completely see why they did it. And I got no problem with it. But I do think that now if there's any Bible, thumper out there and go, there's only one God, there are no aliens, we're the only planet in the whole of the cosmos, which has no. Open your mind a little bit.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, and I do think there's different stages of evolution for different planets.
Yeah.
And I again because I'm a fan of Star Trek, I know I keep going back to this, but there's episodes where you've got you're sort of thinking outside the box. So there's life forms that are not carbon based like we are. There's, as you mentioned earlier, silicon.
Tribbles.
Well, yeah, you got tribbles, but you had like the rock aliens, didn't you?
That's right.
Moved around the caves and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was other entities that were basically energy based,
Yeah.
and things like that. So it just makes you think outside the box. And there was an episode where they were mining into something, and they just discovered this new race of microbes that had intelligence.
That's right.
It was just
Right.
really strange, but it still makes you think outside the box. So when you talk about life forms, we're not just talking about humanoid.
I don't think. I think there probably are some aliens that look like greys. There are some aliens that look like the Nordic ones. There are probably some reptilian ones, etc., etc., etc. But I
Mm.
think when you look at the variety we've got on Earth, and if you put that on the billions of planets that are out there that are capable of having life on it, you've got beyond yours or my imaginations, and I know they're pretty good, but you've got stuff on there that not even the wildest imagination could probably make up,
Oh, absolutely. And I've even I'm very movie based, as most people know by now. Even
Never know.
No, exactly. Even like going down to like Ant-Man,
Yeah,
and he squeezes between the microbes and the, the
yeah,
the tiny particles and things. Now that is all space that's vast as well.
yeah.
So who's to say there isn't life forms within that as also?
Well, there probably is, and they reckon if you can go down small and just keep going and going and going and going, eventually you'll find another universe and whatever else is there.
Hmm.
So why not?
So yeah, we'll just find out one day that we're actually in someone's locker in Grand Central Station.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 probably, yeah. Men in Black.
Oh, how Jay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, all the stuff about Star Trek, you've got warp engines being made, you've got impulse engines being made, and it's a reality. They're actually doing it, and they first appeared on Star Trek.
Oh, absolutely. I actually read an article the other day about transporter technology,
Hmm.
and they said that they can do it, but
They
it's
have done it with atoms.
it's more like it's not actually like they do in Star Trek, I must admit, which is a shame. It's basically almost cloning technology. So they basically break down um, the atoms, and then they create the atom somewhere else. So you'll end up with two of the same object.
I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
I know they've done theoretical time travel, and I know that they've actually done it with atoms. They did it as a transporter thing,
Yeah.
and it was time travel. But the only problem is, I think it was like one atom or something, but they've got no idea where it went.
Yeah, I'll turn up in a few hundred years.
So it's like,
You'll
yeah,
just be
you did
walking.
move it, but nobody knows whether you did move
Yeah,
it forward, backwards, or sideways.
you'll just be walking along one day and an atom will hit you in the head. Oh, that's where it is.
Oh, yeah, there you are. Yes, what
Yeah,
about you, been?
um, yeah, no. Again, I see another article on social media today about the only place on the planet you can actually time travel forwards and back, and it's at the South Pole where all
Right.
the longitude lines meet, and you
Yeah.
can actually run around the whole globe and go through all the time zones. 1 minute you could be in the future, and then the next minute you'd be in the past.
I get you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's possible. There you go, the South Pole. So anyone
Cannot.
who try and travelling, off you go. You know where it is now.
Well, like I say, mathematically, time travel is possible, and for an atom, they've done it. Um,
So I've
and
always thought travelling
yeah,
forward in time is theoretically possible and quite straightforward.
yeah,
You just travel the speed of light, and the closer to the speed of light you get, the slower everyone else around you are.
yeah,
Which is a concept that everyone can get behind and understand. But it's travelling back that's the problem.
yeah.
How would you think they would do that?
The only way you'd be able to do something like that is like one of the warp engines they've been talking about is creating a pocket in space. So you create like a big fold in space, and instead of going point A to point B in a straight line, you fold it, and then point A and point B are actually a lot closer. So you go from one side of the pocket to the other. If you can make a pocket but in reverse, so you go from point B to point A, it might theoretically be possible to do.
No, but isn't that just taking a trip from your living room to your kitchen and then going from your kitchen back to your living room?
You could do that, but what would happen if you made it a hell of a lot longer and a hell of a lot faster? Would you carry on going forward in time, or if you could somehow reverse the technology, would you go backwards in time?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you'll still be travelling in the opposite direction, just forward in time.
I think one day it will be possible. But like you say, moving forward, they can do, and I think it's not going to be too long before they do that anyway. But as you say, I think the moving backwards is going to be the crux. I do think they'll do it, but I don't think it'll be for a while.
So I personally don't see the point in travelling back in time. I know a lot of people talk about creating paradoxes and and stuff like that, but can you really change history?
Would you want to though? Because I mean, anything as much. I mean, like me and my dad, I love him to bits. Miss him. He died in 2007. But is it fair to go back and change time just to give yourself a little bit more happiness when you're going to screw up so many different things? You know, going back and getting rid of Hitler so that the war didn't happen. If you did that, I understand that. But so many people now wouldn't exist because of various members going to war and staying in various countries and meeting various women or men, etc., etc., etc. So you got different families come from different timelines. If you changed all that, half of us wouldn't be here.
See now, I don't think it would be possible to change history, and the simple reason is that you would need to constantly go back in time to make that change. So, say for example, you went back and intervened and saved your dad from passing over.
Yeah.
All right. You would need at some point in the future to come back to carry that on, so that he constantly stays alive.
Excuse me. Yeah, no, I see what you mean.
So basically, your motive now could be that you want more time with your dad. You go back in time, save your dad, and then you've no longer got that motive because you've already got him.
Yeah, yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to go back again to save your dad's life a second time, so that carries on. Because you're creating a loop, aren't you? That's the paradox.
Yeah.
Paradox effect.
Exactly. And it's like I say, we've all had things in our life that we wish had never ever happened. But I think if you went back and changed it, it would just screw up a lot of things for you.
Well, that's it. I mean, you'd only get to a stage where, at the point that you went back, you would have to go back again to intervene again, so your dad could stay alive. But because you no longer have that motive, because he's already alive, it will then revert back to the original timeline.
And it creates a loop because you constantly have to keep writing a note and leaving it somewhere. So you look at it and go, "Oh bloody hell!" and then go back. And
but then if you don't do it, it just reverts back to the original timeline. And this is the issue that everyone has with Back to the Future.
Yeah.
The whole Biff, and he steals the time machine with the magazine, and he goes back, gives it to his younger self, and he's changed the future for himself. And then he comes back to the original timeline's future, which shouldn't really exist. And it makes it a pointless movie.
Yeah. Definitely.
They say that about Indiana Jones as well being a pointless movie. You know, that the first one, it's pointless having him in it because the Germans still end up with the Ark, and he doesn't know. And, there's no point to him. It could just not be in the film, and everything would have happened exactly the same way.
Yeah, but it's like so many things, like the Philadelphia experiment as well. You know, they made a film out of it, and it's supposed to have gone. What was it? It went forward in time in the film. Yeah, it went forward. I think it went forward in time in the film,
Mm.
and then they managed to get it back in time. But if something like that had happened, you'd have to constantly keep doing it.
Yeah. No, so I don't believe that you could go back in time to change history. Maybe observe, but not change anything.
Yeah, it's I think if you go back in time, it might be nice to go and observe, but that's it. You know,
Yeah.
don't change anything because it won't make any difference.
Well, that's it. I mean, you've got like for example, you know, when the Titanic sank, you had that ship, didn't you, in the distance that didn't come to help. Could
Yeah,
that have been a time traveler just observing?
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And they
Well, there's
could
so
be.
many. There's loads of photographs, aren't there, with alleged time travelers in it. There's so many different photographs of people with what looks like tech from now, but you know, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's like, yeah, is it possible? Yeah, don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think some of those photos are pretty much photoshopped and altered. Again,
Uh,
I still don't believe that people could do that. But you know, as you said, you never know. Maybe in the future, at some point, someone will come back.
what I tell you, what I tend to do is, because we're in the paranormal field, I keep an open mind on everything, unless it's something that I look at and I go, no, jog on, mate, that's a fake, you know. But I tend to try and just keep an open mind on most things, you
Yeah.
know, until I convince me away. I'll just stay neutral. I'm obviously aliens because they're here.
Hmm. Okay, so we're actually coming up to the end of the show. We're gonna just have a quick show tonight. Um, for people that want to go and listen to your show, the Dark Mirror show,
Yeah.
where can they find it?
Just type in the Dark Mirror Radio Show on Facebook, and you can either go to our main page or the group page. I'm doing all the shows from the group page now, so we'll be there every Friday, 9 p.m. The Dark Mirror Radio Show on Facebook, and then afterwards I upload them onto Facebook. So again, just type in the Dark Mirror Radio Show onto Facebook, and you'll find on YouTube, and you'll find all our previous shows up on YouTube as well.
Excellent. And what about what do you do more of the same stuff on your rearview mirror show?
Now, the rearview mirror, what we normally do is we have a top 10 list of weird and wonderful things, and my daughter and I talk about them. And I'm hoping it won't be this weekend because fingers crossed I'll be in Rendlesham, but not this weekend, but next weekend we should be back running them again, and it's probably going to be 8 or 9 o'clock at night that we'll be doing it. But it's definitely every Friday 9 p.m. Facebook for the Dark Mirror Show, Dark Mirror Radio Show, and then hopefully every Sunday either 8 or 9 for the Rearview Mirror Show.
Okay, excellent. Cool. And is it just like an hour show or something, or 2 hours?
The Sunday one is an hour show. The Friday one, it's normally an hour, but lately they've been going on for like 2.25, 2.5 hours. Everybody joins in the chat room is just going mad talking about everything. So it's been good. Where have you gone?
Excellent.
Oh, you there?
Yeah, on here. Excellent. So yeah, people can go and join the madness of your shows.
Well, bearing in mind that I'm being an adult tonight.
Well done.
I'm not normally this quiet and subdued. I'm normally bouncing all over the place, swearing a lot more, and cracking a lot more jokes. So the Dark Mirror shows not for the faint-hearted.
Excellent. No, I've caught a few of your shows and they are really good. I really enjoy them. and I
Thank
look
you.
forward to listening to some more. Yeah, that'll be good. So if anyone gets a chance to have a listen, definitely worth it. Have you got anything else coming up in the near future?
Let me think. Hopefully Rendlesham. I'm doing an investigation at Tudor World on the 27th of November. And I'm going to try. In fact, I'll be doing some lives from that. Actually, thinking about it. And having read some of the background on the place, that's going to be an interesting one. Very interesting. And it's going to be as and when I've got some investigations come up, I'll try and do some live from the
brilliant
place at the time.
Yeah.
So I have no doubt I'll be seeing you again at some point, and I'll be doing some lives with you in the background.
Oh, absolutely, definitely. We'll sort something out. It's possibly going to be for the new year now, but yeah, we'll definitely get some events sorted out.
Yeah.
You can come across. So yeah, that's it, and we've literally come to the end of the show. So I want to thank you, Mark, for joining me tonight. And
no worries, more than welcome, mate.
Hour. And hopefully Terry gets better really soon. We all miss you.
She's nothing sicky. She's not really ill.
No, she's really ill. I've seen the messages. And Richard, hopefully you get everything sorted out and everything's okay, and we'll see you again next week. So yeah, all I need to say now is if you want to go and catch up some of our older shows, you can go to www.paranormalconcept.com, and there's lots of blogs and everything on there that you can go and have a look at. We've also got some books that we've written, and they're on there as well, so you can purchase them through the website. With that, all I need to do now is say good night, everybody. So good night, everybody.
Bye.